We should all do the music together. Just kidding.
That was unrehearsed. Can you tell?
Yes, we rehearsed that for
Coach gag.
months and months and months. Obviously not. Welcome to Table Read Tuesdays, where you can guess what we're reading. An episode of the never-ending, wonderful, hope it never ends, The Simpsons. And I'm going to introduce you to this amazing cast we have today to read season 8, episode 2, You Only Move Twice. So in my little corner, I have Tim. Please tell the folks about yourself.
Hello, my name is Tim D. Keatsman. I'm from Chicago, a mail carrier by day, but passionate and doing cartoons whenever possible, including character voices. So, as my Instagram handle is currently there on this thing, whenever you need it. And today, I'll be doing Homer Simpson, as well as Grandpa Simpson, and a parody of James Bond. I think it's called James Bond, much like Sean Connery.
Cool. Thank you. And Roxanne.
And Grandpa.
Hi, I'm Roxanne Armstrong from Central Alberta. Today I'm doing the robocall, the leg up teacher, and Mrs. Owl.
Awesome. And we have Aaron.
Hi, I'm Erin Lillis, and I am a voice actor. And today I am doing Bart.
Wonderful.
And
we have Kathy Zielinski, who I've worked with before and is an animator on The Simpsons that hopefully she'll share some insights about that afterwards when we're doing our after discussions. Then we can ask her some questions about that. Sure. So Kathy, introduce yourself. Sorry, that was an intro for you, but I'm sorry I took all.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Working at The Simpsons. I've been in the animation business for 40 plus years, and Disney, DreamWorks, and a couple of various places, but been at The Simpsons for almost 7 years now and having fun. And I'm an animator on that. So
sweet. So happy to have you here. Thank you. And we have Jack. Welcome back.
Hello, my name is Jack Loney. I occasionally show up on this show sometimes. I'm a guest star, much like the character I'm playing in this episode, Hank Scorpio, and a couple other characters, but notably Hank Scorpio.
Yes. Excellent. And it's someone who can do that much better than I, Harry.
Hi, my name is Zary. I'm a voice actor. I'm going to be playing the part of Smithers, Flanders, Otto, and why am I derping on the other one? And Millhouse type. I have a voice picked up for that one. So
excellent. Looking forward to all of that. And we have Vicky.
Hi, I'm Vicky Dykes. I'm from Central Alberta and I'm an actress. And tonight I'm reading Mr. Doyle and a variety of other characters. There's 8 altogether.
Sweet. And Angel Peterson.
Hi, I'm Angel Peterson, and I'm going to be a bunch of women and students and a worker, a family, a leg up kid, whatever that is, and the rest of the class.
Excellent. And last but never least, Heather Cameron.
Hello, my name is Heather Lee Cameron, and tonight I'll be playing Lisa Simpson, second leg up kid, second member, record children. Yeah.
Excellent.
And I'm from Lethbridge, Alberta.
All right. That's our amazing cast came here today and reading this basically a cold read because we sent them the script and the parts not too long ago. So, but they'll do awesome. They always do. And I will share the screen and I will read action descriptions right here. All right. The Simpsons production script number 3F23. You only move twice. And they have the cast written by John Swartzwelder. I'm sure I said that wrong, Welder. All right, creep on that. Go ahead and develop it. Here we go. Date 11/13/95. All the great talented voice actors reading all the awesome characters. And we come down to page 6. You Only Move Twice by John Swartzwelder. Act 1. Fade in. Exterior Smithers' house. Morning. Smithers comes out of his house and starts walking to work.
I work for Monty Burns, Monty Burns.
A long limo silently cruises up. The window slides down and a very professional looking businesswoman hails him.
Mr. Smithers, may we offer you a ride to work?
No, thank you.
He resumes walking, humming the Monty Burns song. The limo keeps pace with him.
We're from Globex Corporation. We'd like to talk to you about an exciting employment opportunity in our nuclear division.
Smithers continues walking.
The latter, but spoken for.
We're prepared to offer you an impressive salary, plus health benefits for you and your life partner.
The answer is no. What's wrong with this country? Can't a man walk down the street without being offered a job?
He angrily tips his hat and stalks off. Interior limo continuous. The businesswoman looks through a sheaf of papers.
We'll have to go to the next most senior man at the plant. Here we are, 10 years experience. His name is...
Interior Simpson's house, living room, later. Homer rushes in excitedly.
I got a job. I got a new job. It's with Globex Corporation. I get more money plus health benefits for me and my life partner. And they'll move us and give us a nice house to live in. And
Move us?
it's in Cypress Creek, upstate somewhere.
You took a job in a strange town without discussing it with your family?
No, of course not. I wouldn't do that.
We
Why
have
not?
roots here. Oh, sorry. We have roots here, Homer. We have friends, family, and library cards. Bart's lawyer is here.
But Marge, this is a chance to fulfill my lifelong dream.
What lifelong dream?
Promise not to laugh.
Of course we won't laugh.
Yes, we will. Get ready to laugh, Lisa.
Ready?
I've always wanted to own the Dallas Cowboys.
I'm sorry, Dad. I just find that very cute.
Homer, I don't want to leave Springfield. I've dug myself into a happy little rut here, and I'm not about to hoist myself out of it.
Just bring the rut with you, honey. Come on, take a look.
He shoves a cassette in the VCR. On TV, we see a slow pan of a small, modern, pleasant-looking town.
Cypress Creek is a planned community built and designed to serve the workers of the Globex Corporation.
Let's watch something else.
Homer, you're trying to talk us into moving into this place.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Let's watch this.
On TV, we see a dilapidated city street, not unlike the block Mose is on. A sleek young couple sadly surveys the scene.
Look at this place.
Somebody ought to build a town that works.
Somebody did.
The street scene freezes. Step by step, it's transformed into an upscale showplace. The parking meters become lovely trees. 1 meter with a mangoed bike chained to it becomes a healthy tree with a mangoed bike chained to it. A rundown vacant storefront becomes a bustling coffee bar. The adjacent hardware store becomes another bustling coffee bar. A homeless man on the sidewalk becomes a mailbox. Exterior model home sunset. The man and woman now stand with 2 children we've never seen before outside their home, which sit on a hilltop overlooking a well-manicured planned community with young families enjoying a man-made lake, bike paths, and trees. Every house has solar panels on the roof, recycling bins on the curb. Several hot air balloons dot the sky.
It's called Cypress Creek, where the technology of tomorrow meets your dreams of today.
Your dreams may vary from those of the Globex Corporation, its subsidiaries, and shareholders.
Music, soothing chord. Back to scene. Homer clicks off the tape.
Well, what do you think of me in Cypress Creek now, Marge?
Does seem nicer than Springfield.
Yeah. Did you notice how the people weren't shoving or knocking each other down? I've never been to a place like that before.
Bart shoves her aside.
Me neither.
Well, we could use the extra money, and this house is falling apart.
She glances out the window as the chimney falls suddenly past.
All right.
Yay!
Hey.
Montage. There's a for sale sign on the Simpsons' front lawn. Otto is looking around the front room of the Simpsons' house. He notices the windows.
Oh, well, windows. I don't think I can afford this place.
Apu is talking to Marge and Homer at the front step.
I'm not interested in buying the house, but I would like to use your restroom, flip through your magazines, rearrange your carefully shelved items, and handle your food products in an unsanitary manner. Ha! Now you know how it feels!
Thank you. Come again.
Homer is pounding a sold sign into the front lawn.
Homer, don't do that until we sell the house.
Oh,
Homer groans, disappointed, and starts removing the sign. A lawyer with an armful of cats is looking at the house.
They inherited one house, and since then they've bought 5 more. Does it have a cat door?
No.
The cats hiss at Marge. Interior Simpsons house kitchen. Later, Marge and Homer sit forlornly at the kitchen table.
we'll never sell this rotten dump.
Just then, some plastic begins falling from the ceiling. Suddenly, Bart's foot and leg break through the ceiling directly above.
Little help here?
Marge gets a broom and pushes Bart's leg back up through the ceiling.
Even if we sell the house, we still won't come close to paying off the mortgage.
Marge and Homer sit glumly for a beat, then share a look of dawning realization.
Hey.
Exterior Simpsons house next morning. Homer proudly nails a board up and over the front door that reads abandoned. Meanwhile, Marge crams the last of their personal belongings into a U-Haul. Clothes, bikes, books, etc. Flanders comes out of his house and approaches Homer.
Homer, about those things you borrowed from me over the years, the TV stand, the power sander, the downstairs bathtub, are you going to be needing those things in Cypress Creek?
Yes.
Oh,
Oakley dokley.
Oakley dogley.
Flanders exits past Grandpa, who is standing next to the car looking up at his family, baffled.
Now, Grandpa, we can't be with you as much as we would like to anymore. So we've arranged for a datacom to get their automated robocall service. It will call you every day to make sure you're okay.
You'll be calling me every day?
No, a robot will call you. A robot.
Grandpa thinks about this. We see his thought bubble, which shows an old-fashioned ticker taper machine spewing out tape.
I understand.
Homer starts the car. Marge and the kids wave and they drive off. Interior Simpsons car a few minutes later. They drive by the Quickie Mart, Moe's, etc. And in very quick succession, nearly every character in Springfield. Everyone that can do characters in Springfield.
Goodbye.
See ya.
Bye.
Hey, see you later,
Homer.
Homer.
I'm gonna miss Springfield. This town's been awfully good to us.
No, it hasn't, Dad. That's why we're leaving.
Oh yeah. So long, State Town!
They pass the city's limit sign. Interior Springfield Retirement Castle later. Grandpa's phone rings. He picks up the receiver. A computer voice begins speaking to him.
This is your special greeting from Robocall, your automated friend. This service was selected for you by Homer Simpson family.
Hello?
Enter 1 if you are having a medical emergency. Enter 2 if you would like to hear inspirational scripture read by a machine. Enter 3 if you are lonely.
Grandpa presses 3.
You have entered that you are lonely. Thank you.
Sound effects, dial tone.
Hello?
And fade out, end of Act 1. Act 2, fade in. Establishing shot, mountain road. The Simpsons car climbs into tall timber country amidst mountaintops and giant redwoods. Interior, Simpson car continuous. Lisa is looking at a pamphlet.
It says here that one of these giant redwood trees can provide enough wood to make a shed the size of the Empire State Building, or enough sawdust to cover an entire day's worth of vomit at Disneyland.
The Simpsons admire the trees with newfound respect.
Ooh.
Exterior, Cypress Creek residential area a little later. The Simpsons car drives down the tree-lined street and up to a modest but extremely nice-looking house. Homer checks his Globex folder.
Here we are, 15201 Maple Systems Road, our new home.
The family gets out of the car and admires the details of their new home.
Finally, a front yard big enough to sunbathe nude in.
Marge looks at the pretty gabled roof.
Wow, look at the roof. There must be one heck of an attic up there.
Marge excitedly dashes into the house. We hear feet running up some stairs.
Nope, it's full of insulation.
Interior, new Simpsons house foyer, continuous. The rest of the family enters the house, which is fully furnished, and closes the door. Less than a second later, there's a knock. Lisa opens it to reveal a man holding a welcome fruit basket. He is in his 40s, has a neatly trimmed red beard, and is wearing shorts and a t-shirt.
I'm here to welcome you on behalf of the president of the Globex Corporation. Me! Try the papayas. They're juicy and full of papain. Makes you strong like Popeye. Coincidence? I think so. Enzymes are my hobby. I'm Hank Scorpio.
My boss.
Oh, please. I'm not into the whole boss thing. You see my feet? Moccasins. You like them? There's a pair for you upstairs, too. You don't like them? Well, then neither do I!
He takes off his moccasins and tosses them out the door.
Ever seen a guy say goodbye to a shoe? Oh, wait. Get the hell out of here!
Mr. Scorpio, this house is almost too good for us. I keep expecting to get the bums rush.
We don't have bums in our town, Marge, and if we did, they'd be allowed to leave at their own pace. Now, if you'll excuse me, I was in the middle of a fun run.
He pulls out a number from under his shirt and runs out the door and down the street.
See you at work tomorrow.
A beat later, a pack of exhausted runners runs down the street behind him.
That guy is my new hero.
Homer opens his wallet, removes a photograph, and begins tearing it up.
So long, Gandhi.
Interior, new Simpson house, kitchen, the next morning. Marge in her apron looks around her new kitchen. We hear a quiet hum of appliances.
Okay, the oven is cleaning itself. The autovac's on dirt patrol.
A humming vacuum cleaner glides past under its own power.
Maggie's enjoying her swingamajig.
We see Maggie swinging extremely high on one of those automatic indoor baby swings. On each back swing, she unsuccessfully reaches for the off button.
I can't believe it. I've done all my housework and it's only 9:30. Better go upstairs and make sure the beds are still made.
She hurries upstairs. Interior, Springfield retirement castle simultaneously. Grandpa is talking on the phone.
No, back then, socks didn't come in pairs.
How interesting. Go on, please.
You'd buy one and then take it to a gypsy feller who'd cut you a matcher. And for an extra nickel, he'd...
And then what happened?
Exterior, Globex Corporation simultaneously. Homer drives into the parking lot, which has a sign with arrows separating the cars from the bicycles.
I believe I'll try cars.
He pulls into a space with his name on it, right next to the sign. It is the only car space in the lot. From overhead, all of the other employees pull into very narrow spaces on various bicycles. One man rides a recumbent bicycle enclosed in a nylon skin with only his head poking out. Another helmeted female rider comes careening down the mountain on a mountain bike into her space. Finally, a man on a hang glider lands next to Homer. He unhitches, pulls out the chain from his briefcase, locks up his glider, and saunters to work. Interior Globex Corporation, main work area. Mr. Scorpio, wearing jeans, hiking sneakers, and a Patagonia-style jacket, is giving Homer the tour of Globex.
You'll notice that we're pretty casual around here.
Yes, yes, sir, Mr. Scorpio. I will notice that.
Just call me Hank. Say, before we continue our tour, would you mind hanging my coat upon the wall?
He hands Homer his jacket. Homer looks around for a place to hang the jacket. We pull back to reveal they are in the middle of the main work area, a vast, open, sunny atrium.
Relax, Homer. At Globex, we don't believe in walls. And matter of fact, I didn't even give you my coat.
Homer looks down at his hands. They are empty. He looks back up at Hank Scorpio, who is wearing his jacket, which is now on backwards.
Oh, boss. Must wear jacket at all times. Got it.
Interior Globex a few minutes later. Homer and Hank Scorpio walk along, eating snow cones. For some reason, the background does not move, pulled back to reveal they're walking on treadmills in the company gym.
Having a place like this has always been my dream. What's your dream, Homer?
To work for you.
I appreciate the sincerity of that remark, but no, really.
They get off the treadmills and, for some reason, they begin moving forward, although they aren't walking. Pull back to reveal they're now on a people mover.
Well, someday I'd like to own the Dallas Cowboys.
I'll bet people laugh at you when you tell them that, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, don't give up. They laughed at me when I wore a blazer with blue jeans. I invented that look. My gift to America.
Hank puts his arm around Homer as they enter another area paneled with redwood and smoked glass.
Now, this is the nuclear generator area. Of course, our little operation must seem like small potatoes to you, but we think that someday we'll be able to change the world.
Mr. Scorpio, I assure you small potatoes have always been high on my list. Second only to large potatoes.
Interior Globex nuclear generator continuous. They enter a workstation that looks like a sleek 90s version of Homer's old workstation. Mouse pads, split ergonomic keypads. A few technicians in casual clothes sit at the panel.
Oh, hello, sir. Good day. Yes. Hello.
Homer, these men will be your eyes, your ears, and, should the need arise, your secret Santas. They're the best nuclear energy men around. Your job will be to manage and motivate them. Give them the benefits of your years of experience.
Don't worry, that won't take long at all.
You know, the key to motivation is trust. Let me show you what I mean.
Hank steps behind Homer and holds out his hands.
Fall backwards and I'll catch you. You have to trust me. Okay. 3, 2, 1, trust!
Homer closes his eyes and falls backwards into Hank's arms. A panicked Hank strains visibly under the weight.
Stop! I'm not going to be able to catch you. Stop trusting!
With some difficulty, Homer rights himself.
Well, I'll leave it to it, Homer. We're on a tight schedule here, so keep him motivated.
Mr. Scorpio exits. Homer stands around looking a little uncertain. Then he walks up to his nuclear team.
Are you guys working?
Oh, yes, sir, Mr. Simpson.
Could you work any harder than this?
Oh, sure thing, boss.
They all start working a little harder.
Call me Homer.
Exterior, Cypress Creek Elementary simultaneous. The kids, including Bart and Lisa, pour out of the school bus and charge into the sleek, state-of-the-art school. A sign reads Cypress Creek Elementary, www.eduscape.com. Interior Cypress Creek Elementary, Bart's class. It's a little like Miss Krabappel's class, but completely up to date. Whiteboards with colored markers, a bank of computers, track lighting, etc. The teacher isn't there yet, and the excited students crowd around Bart, memorized by his antics.
Dude, you're the dude.
You got a fresh sound. It'll play well at this school.
A Millhouse type slides up to Bart.
Hey, Bart, do you have a best friend yet? Because I've been looking for someone to boss me around.
Mr. Doyle, a pleasant man in his 30s, enters and the students take their seats. Muted? Oh.
Okay, folks, let's do it to it. Grammar, that is. Everybody writes down this sentence and circle the nouns.
On the chalkboard, he writes the sentence, Quentin and Tammy went to the zoo on Sunday, in cursive. All the students begin taking this down. A confused Bart looks quizzically at the others, then squints at the board.
Oh, Bart, as the newest addition to our menagerie, you have the honors. Start by reading the sentence.
To Winton and Joey were.
The other students stare at Bart. After an awkward silence, Bart makes a tentative armpit fart sound. Nobody laughs. Interior hallway outside the classroom. A few seconds later, the concerned teacher crouches with Bart in conference.
So you never learned cursive?
Well, I know hell and damn and
Oh, a cursive handwriting. Script. Do you know the multiplication tables? Long division?
I know of them.
Well, what were they teaching you at Springfield Elementary? Seymour Skinner's operation.
He walks Bart down the hall.
You know, Bart, I think you'd profit from a more remedial environment. I'm sure you'll feel right at home in the Leg Up program.
He opens the door and ushers Bart into a brightly painted room containing 6 boys and 1 girl who look an awful lot like Ralph Wiggum. They smile eagerly at Bart. Music, dramatic sting. Exterior, new Simpson house yard a little later. A happy Marge comes out of the house wearing gardening clothes, a sun hat, and carrying water pail. As she strides towards the flower bed, the automatic sprinklers go on, watering every part of the lawn. Marge looks crestfallen. She turns and heads back into the house. Interior new Simpson's house, kitchen, continuous. Marge enters and sits at the counter.
Yes, I can't complain. Everything's perfect here.
A beat passes, then another beat. Then she pours herself a glass of wine and takes a big sip. Sound effects, old-fashioned, ominous. Interior, Cypress Creek Elementary, leg up class later. The 6 Ralph Wiggum students sit at one large table. Bart leans over his neighbor.
Hey, cuz, what are you in for?
I had mono. It took me a year to get my energy back.
I fell off the jungle gym. And when I woke up, I was in here.
I start fires.
The leg up teacher, a matronly woman with glasses, writes large cursive A on the chalkboard.
Okay, now everyone take out your safety pencil and a circle of paper. This week, I hope we can finish our work on the letter A.
Let me get this straight. We're behind the rest of our class, and we're going to catch up to them by going slower than they are? Cuckoo!
The rest of the class imitates him.
Cuckoo! Cuckoo!
Stop it! Stop it! Warren, Melvin, Gary, Gordy.
Look, lady, I'm supposed to be in the 4th grade.
Sounds to me like someone's got a case of the spostas.
Bart drops his head to the table. A nearby student's hand reaches in and pats Bart consolingly. The patting quickly intensifies into a series of painful slaps. Then the teacher reaches in and pulls the hand away.
Warren!
Exterior Cypress Creek Elementary afternoon. Lisa leaves school and begins walking home through the woods. She skips down the sun-dappled path, marveling at all the beautiful flora and fauna.
Wildflowers? We don't have you in Springfield.
A cheerful chipmunk hops up.
Hello, Mr. Chipmunk. You're a northern reticulated chipmunk. Yes, you are. You're so reticulated.
She skips past an owl perched on a tree limb.
Hi, Mrs. Owl. You're out kind of early.
Lisa skips off. In the background, the owl swoops down and flies away with a struggling chipmunk.
Hoot!
Exterior Cypress Creek Retail Promenade that weekend. The Simpsons walk along the beautifully landscaped retail promenade.
This town is so much more in tune with nature than Springfield. The trees stand up all by themselves and the animals all have the right number of eyes and heads.
I noticed that.
What I noticed is how well I'm doing at work. Mr. Scorpio says productivity's up 2%, and it's all because of my motivational techniques, like donuts and the possibility of more donuts to come.
I knew you'd do well, Homer. This move seems like a blessing for every member of the family.
Smash cut 2. Interior Springfield Retirement Castle that minute. Grandpa is on the phone.
Hi, it's me. You're gonna laugh when you hear what my goldfish just did.
How did you get this number?
Exterior Cypress Creek Retail Promenade continuous. The family strolls past several upscale shops to a sports memorabilia store called the Spend Zone. Its logo is a goalpost with a stack of money flying over it. Lisa sees something in the window.
A hockey puck with an original Guy Lafleur tooth still in it.
To Berman's Dry Cleaning. Best wishes to Berman's Dry Cleaning. Best wishes, Tom Landry.
We see that the hat is autographed with a silver pen in the middle of the Dallas Cowboys display.
Why don't you buy it?
I can't buy that. Only management type guys with big salaries like me can afford things like that. Guys like me? I'm a guy like me.
Interior Globex. Homer's work area next day. Homer stands next to Jenkins, who is sitting at his station, glumly wearing Homer's Tom Landry hat. Homer takes the hat off Jenkins.
Okay, who wants to wear the hat next?
Workers have no response.
Come on, it's still got some of this original Vitalis. What's with you guys?
I'm sorry. We're just a little tired, sir. We've really been pushing ourselves to get the reactor online.
Tired, eh? What you guys need is hammocks.
Homer exits purposefully. Interior Globex, Mr. Scorpio's office a minute later. Homer enters. In the background, we see a huge map of the world on the wall, with jumpsuited men standing at ease in front of it. Also on the wall are a series of large screen televisions.
Oh, hi, Homer. What can I do for you?
My workers need some. Is that a map of the world?
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Greenland's way too big. That's why the Maractor project is for you. That's the Maractor project for you. So, something on your mind, or just want to swap stories?
Oh, yeah. Sir, I need to know where I can get some business hammocks.
Hammocks. I love it! Home run idea! Wrigley Field! No, old Yankee Stadium!
Ready for the lineup, Mr. Scorpio.
Oh, okay, just a second. Homer, I gotta take care of some. Just a second, Homer. I gotta take care of something here.
Fine.
Grim-faced delegates of the UN appear on the TV screens.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. This is Scorpio. I have the doomsday device. You have 72 hours to deliver the gold, or you face the consequences. And to prove I'm not bluffing...
He presses a button. The members of the UN look stunned as an explosion goes off somewhere near them. They look out the window behind them.
Oh my God, the 59th Street Bridge.
Maybe it just collapsed on its own.
We can't take that chance.
You always say that. I want to take a chance.
You have 72 hours.
He flips the switch, severing the link. The televisions go blank. He turns back to Homer, who is yawning.
Now, about those hammocks. If I remember correctly, they opened a hammocker, schlummocker, hummocker down on 3rd in Maine. And say, while you're there, pick me up a neck pillow.
3rd and Maine. Gotcha.
Homer walks out, suspecting nothing. Fade out, end of Act 2. Act 3, fade in. Interior Globex corridor the next day. Homer is walking down the corridor carrying a cup of coffee. He comes up to a jumpsuited worker who is holding an automatic weapon.
Any sugar around here?
The jumpsuited worker jerks the thumb towards security door at the end of the corridor.
Try in there, Homer.
Homer walks up to the security door, opens it, and walks in. Interior Globex chamber inside volcano continuous. Homer is in a giant chamber inside the mountain. In the middle of the chamber is 8-story high machine of destruction. Jumpsuited workers are engaged in a hectic activities. Homer looks around with mild interest. Mr. Scorpio turns and sees Homer.
Hi, Homer. I hope your team is going to have that nuclear reactor up to full power by tomorrow. It would mean a lot to myself and the 300 other employee owners of Globex.
Yes, sir. No problemo.
Good. By the way, what's your least favorite country? Italy or France?
France.
Mr. Scorpio types something into the computer. The machine of destruction moves a little to the left.
Hey, I've never seen this office before.
You haven't? Oh, that's right. We had a party here a few weeks ago, but that was before you joined us.
Uh-huh. Any sugar around here?
It's in the sugar caddy next to the amaretto biscotti.
Homer goes to get his sugar. Interior new Simpsons house living room mid-morning. The camera follows Marge as she cleans the already spotless kitchen counter. She approaches a bottle of wine and already poured a glass and passes right by it. The camera holds on the bottle. A beat later, Marge comes cleaning back into frame and takes a big sip. Interior Cypress Creek Elementary leg up class day. The children, including Bart, are marching around a group of chairs as the teacher sits with a record player. Everyone sings along with the music.
I like me, I like me, I'm as good as I can be, with a smile and a wave and a happy melody. I'm as good as.
The teacher lifts the needle off the record and all the children dash for the chairs. There are more than enough chairs for every child.
Hey, everyone's a winner.
Ugh, why do we keep doing this?
This song was written by a task force of 38 highly qualified educators. It is specially engineered to increase self-esteem.
Well, it ain't working.
Well, perhaps I'm not playing it loud enough.
She puts the record back on at a deafening volume. The other students get up and eagerly resume their marching. Several of them tug at Bart, trying to get him to join in. Exterior Cypress Creek Woods that afternoon. Lisa's walking along with a rapturous expression on her face. There are big flowers everywhere, even on the trees.
Oh, the whole forest is blooming.
She sniffs a beautiful flower. Her nose twitches.
Choo, excuse me.
She runs happily over to another flower and smells that, getting bright pollen all over her nose. Her eyes begin to water.
Oh, my eyes are burning. Oh no, I must be allergic to this pollen.
Sneezing, Lisa blunders through the woods, accidentally knocking more pollen out of everything. She trips and falls, then looks up and sees a chipmunk a few inches from her face, peering out from behind the dandelion puff.
Oh, little chipmunk friend, I'm allergic to everything.
The chipmunk swivels the dandelion so it's pointing at Lisa, then blows it into her face with a quick puff.
Ah!
Interior Globex cavern floor later. Homer is fiddling with the vending machine, trying to get a candy bar out. Off to one side, we see Mr. Scorpio has tied down James Bond, a formally dressed Sean Connery type. Mr. Scorpio throws a lever which causes a laser beam to move nearer and nearer to Bond's crotch.
Ingenious, isn't it, Mr. Bont? The laser is just strong enough to kill you without mirroring the surface of the authentic stickly table.
Scorpio, you are totally mad.
Hey, let's not point fingers. That is so not what we're here to do at Globex Corporation. Goodbye, Mr. Bont.
As Mr. Scorpio turns to leave, the laser beams moves within a centimeter of James Bont on Bont. As Scorpio walks away, Bont works a quarter out of his pocket and flips it up into the air. The laser beam bounces off of it and breaks into 4 beams, which burn through the restraints on his wrists and ankles. He jumps up, runs after Scorpio, sprays gas in Mr. Scorpio's face, and runs off past the vending machine.
Stop him!
Without hesitating, Homer tackles Bont as he comes by. Bont's head bangs hard against the concrete floor. Mr. Scorpio runs up, accompanied by jumpsuited henchmen.
Nice work, Homer! Hey, there's a great Tex-Mex place down the street. What do you say we grab some flatulas?
Okay by me.
They exit. As James Bont is dragged out of the frame, the henchmen whip out pistols. Off screen, we hear the sound of a number of guns with silencers going off. Exterior New Simpsons house dining room that night. Over dinner, Homer talks to the family, who seem rather glum.
I tackled a loafer at work today.
No response from the family.
Hey, what's with you sad sacks?
I'm allergic to everything here. My nose is so stuffed up, I can't even taste Mom's delicious boiled celery.
I've been so bored since we moved here. I found myself drinking a glass of wine every day. I know doctors say you should drink a glass and a half, but I just can't drink that much. I feel like I'm stuck in a dangerous no man's land.
Well, the Simpsons men are doing fine. Right, Bart? You haven't even gotten in trouble at school.
Ugh, I can't get in trouble at school. I'm in a locked, padded room with thick carpets and bounce-resistant balls.
Well, at least they have good schools here.
Mom, they put me in the remedial class. I'm surrounded by arsonists and kids with mittens pinned to their jackets.
Uh-huh. Well, some things are a little different over here, but you'll get used to them.
Dad, everything is different. In the cafeteria here, we have to eat with sporks. I miss our old school where everyone got 2 spoons.
And they keep ticketing me for parking more than 24 inches from the curb.
And the water doesn't taste like Springfield water. It tastes like vacation water.
Bart, Lisa, and Marge all look at each other for a long beat.
Hey, Dad. We want to
go back to
Springfield.
But my job is here, and for the first time in my life, I'm actually good at it. My team is way ahead of the weather machine and germ warfare divisions.
It's up to you, Homer. Whatever you decide, that's what we'll do.
Interior Globex cavern floor the next morning. Homer walks onto the cavern floor. Behind him, a huge battle is going on between Globex henchmen and U.S. soldiers who are rappelling down the cavern walls. Homer walks up to the businesswoman from earlier, who is wearing a bikini and holding a clipboard.
I need to talk to you. I need to talk to Mr. Scort. Hey, why are you wearing a bikini, Mrs. Jigglesworth?
It's a long story. He's over there.
New angle, Mr. Scorpio is hurriedly pressing buttons on his console.
E-minus 1 minute, 35 seconds.
Suddenly, a platoon of soldiers bursts through the side wall. Scorpio quickly presses a button marked Scald. High overhead, a vat tips, and a molten substance pours down on the soldiers. Homer walks up.
I've got a problem, Hank.
Can I wait a sec?
Well, it is pretty important.
Mr. Scorpio stops what he's doing and turns to Homer. In the background, we see the businesswoman flip across the cavern floor, grab Norman Schwarzkopf by the head with her legs, and chokes him with her thighs.
Hey, what's going on?
I'm having a little trouble with the government.
Oh, those jerks. Always jumping all over a guy. Just because he has some new ideas. Don't get me started about the government.
Well, they're just doing their job. Anyway, Homer, what's on your mind? Talk to me.
My family wants to move back to Springfield.
What's bothering them?
Nothing big. Just a lot of little things.
It's the little things that make up. It's the little things that make up life, Homer.
Mr. Scorpio whirls and throws a hand grenade into a group of advancing soldiers. Then he turns back to Homer.
Don't let your job precedence over. Don't take your job precedence over everything else, Homer. You've got to do what's best for you and your family.
T-minus 14 seconds.
I've got to run. Whatever choice you make, I'll respect it. If you need to go, go. If you feel like you can stay, we'd love to have you. We can fill your position. But we can't replace you.
Missiles begin striking the volcano. Flaming debris and boulders fall to the cavern floor. Mr. Scorpio grabs a flamethrower and runs across the cavern floor, blasting advancing government forces. He calls back to Homer.
Whatever you decide, thanks much.
Homer walks off looking thoughtful. Exterior Springfield, old Simpsons house, a few days later. The Simpsons car and trailer pull up 3 feet from the curb. Marge gets out of the driver's seat as the rest of the family piles up. The for sale sign is still on the lawn, and a big stack of newspapers lie on the front stoop. As the Simpsons obviously walk by the newspapers, we see the top one has a headline, Super Villain Seizes East Coast. Underneath is a photo of the smiling Hank Scorpio. Interior Simpsons house kitchen continues. They enter the house and look around.
Well, everything's back to normal.
The doorbell rings. Homer answers it and is handed a telegram. He opens it.
Project Arcturus couldn't have succeeded without you. This will get you a little closer to that dream of yours. It's not the Dallas Cowboys, but it's a start. Drop me a line if you're on the East Coast. Hank Scorpio.
Homer looks outside. The Houston Oilers are on the lawn, running wind sprints and passing footballs to each other.
The Houston Oilers.
Interior Simpsons house, master bedroom night. Homer and Marge are in bed. Homer looks pissed.
I still think owning the Houston Oilers is pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, explain it to me why it isn't.
You just don't understand football, Marge.
Fade out, end of show. Woo!
We did it.
A lot
I
of
hope-
differences in that script.
I hope we impressed you, Miss Zelinsky.
Oh, yes, no, it was really fun to hear all the voices and stuff. Yeah, you guys did a great job.
Well, you know, I'm one of those who grew up going to the video store and renting The Simpsons on VHS on Toonie Tuesdays or whatever. So.
I've grown up with The Simpsons, and this episode is one of my favorites.
Awesome.
Yeah,
It is.
kind of this thing.
Tim, Jack, and Heather, you did great. Ari, too. Everybody that
thanks.
was doing voices was
Thank you.
fantastic.
Including yourself, Aaron.
Angel, Vicky,
Aaron, why are you not praising yourself? You know, that pisses me off.
Aaron, you did a wonderful job.
She was saving the best for
Yeah.
last.
Obviously, you were the best, but I
Don't worry.
don't
I was praising
Oh,
her in
yeah.
the chat.
So much.
I
Vicky,
praised her
your
in the
new
chat.
mic sounds great.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Vicky, where did you get that?
I was inspired.
Yeah, I
Awesome,
might be
awesome.
inspired too once I get some money to get a better mic.
And we'll talk to everybody on whatever mics they have in a moment. But first, we're going to do an outro where everyone can say more about who they are, where you can find them, and what they do. So in my upper corner, I have Tim again.
Yes, as I say, I am Tim D. Keatsman. I am in Chicago, mail carrier, but I'm a passionate cartoonist and I love to do voices. And you can find me on Instagram or just type in the search engine right there, Tim D. Keatsman, voice actor. I
Tim,
think
you ate.
you will definitely see me, I think.
All right, all right. And Aaron Lillis.
Aaron Lillis, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Ravie13. That's RAVIE13. And I'm a voice actor and have got some some video games coming out. One called Hobble, one called Dredge. Some more in the works, and moving on to the next people.
Exciting. And we're going to move on to Kathy Zelinsky.
Yeah, so animator
Sorry,
in
cutting that
industry. Yeah, that's just kind of basically what I do. And let me see. I guess you could see some of my drawings on Instagram. Kathy
right.
Zelinsky, just easy to find.
That would be
I know you
amazing.
recently had artwork in a gallery. Is that stuff on Instagram as well? Some of it?
Oh,
or-
yes. Oh, yeah, actually. So recently I had an art gallery show at the Animation Guild Gallery 839, and that has since ended. But if you like Ursula, the Sea Witch, my art is currently on display at the Academy Museum in Beverly Hills. And so if you go down there, you'll see a maquette I sculpted during the production and about 10 of my animation drawings and a cell, which is pretty cool. And it'll be up for a year. So it'll be up till April of 2024 if you want to go check it out.
Checking it out right now. It's very cool. I mean, I'm checking out your Instagram, but
Oh.
she can't.
Yeah, lots of I basically had an Instagram account for a lot of my personal art.
It's awesome.
I will
So-
have to check that out during the break. If you wouldn't mind, Miss Zelinsky, if you could please put a link in the chat.
All right, one of us will. I will. And till then, Jack. Where can
All
people
right,
find you?
my
What
name is
do you
Jack
do?
Loney. All right, yeah, my name is Jack Loney. You can find me on YouTube as Jack Loney VA, or if you want to check out my old home movies, there's Jack Toon Link. And then for Instagram, my Instagram should be loney.jack, and Facebook is just Jack Loney and whatever. In terms of upcoming projects, well, currently I'm at Rosebud School of the Arts. Just a month ago, I finished up a show recently. It was a lot of fun. And now I actually got one of my first voiceover opportunities. I'm going to be doing a fan dub of a video game. So yeah, excited for whenever I have to record for that.
I didn't realize you're in Alberta.
Oh yeah, by the way, I'm in Alberta.
Huh. Oh, Rosebud. Rosebud
Is
Theater.
rather prominent.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. That's awesome. Awesome. And Ari.
I'm Mary, and I'm a voice actor. I'm actually located in Calgary. You can find me on my Facebook as Ari Williamson. I have no projects on the works right now because I'm waiting for the next episode of the one I'm working on to be finished being made so I can record for that.
This is very, very sweet. And Vicky Dykes with her new microphone.
Hello, I'm Vicky Dykes. I live in Penhold, Alberta. And yes, I was inspired to buy this mic because I wanted my voice audition for a voice acting part to sound really good. So
It does.
yeah. And I signed up for a little bit of schooling yesterday. I'm going to expand my improv skills. So it actually will be stepping into the same time zone as my Shakespeare Zoom performances. So yeah, you have to do what you have to do. So
Education's always a good thing, though. Right?
No, that's awesome.
At least we get to keep you. Sorry, I interrupted.
I've been
true.
listening to a lot of interviews and conversations recently, and there's a lot of like well-known actors and actresses that they still go to acting classes and improv classes and stuff before they have all this stuff. It's just, I don't know, I just respect that a lot, that always learning and feeling like you can learn more and stuff. So that is awesome. And Angel Peterson.
Hi, I'm Angel Peterson, and I'm also in Alberta. And I'm starting to work a lot. So that's fun. And I also sort of picked up a little part-time voiceover job and video editing together. So it's everything So that's a little part-time thing, commercial thing.
Very cool. Is there anywhere that people should look for you or your stuff?
Yeah, I always think just here is good.
Right. And Heather Lee Cameron.
Hello, my name is Heather Lee Cameron. I'm an actor, I'm a writer, I'm a voice actor. I am an independent filmmaker, and I'm a family history research student from Lethbridge, Alberta. You can find me on my YouTube channel, The Storm and Latter-day Saint. All my personal links are there. You can find me, my work on Heather Lee Freelancer on Facebook. I have a bunch of personal sites as well. I'm on the acting websites. I'm definitely looking for work. I've done a few things for a few projects. I've been cast in some things. I just don't know how much I can say publicly, but we'll see. I'm still looking for work though, even though being in school. I'm a dual citizen of Canada and the United States, so I can work for both. You can reach me at any of my socials, or you can reach me at heather.lee.cameron@gmail.com.
Awesome. And Roxane.
Hi, Roxane Armstrong from Central Alberta. I'm an actress here who stepped away for a couple of years, and I'm just getting back into it. Like Vicky, I'm doing some improv, so that's a whole lot of fun. And just doing this to fill some time, hone some skills. I'm on Facebook as Roxane Armstrong, on Instagram as Roxane. In my other time, I'm a social marketer for a health and wellness company, which takes up a lot of my time as well. And that's me.
All right. And that's all of us. And I'm going to say just to go ahead. Yeah, for that. Jacob Patrick, jacobpatrick.com, but mainly here, Table Read Tuesday, every Tuesday on YouTube. Like, subscribe, follow, all that fun stuff we have to say and do. But we're going to take a short little break, let everyone get a drink, go to the restroom, and we'll come back and we'll talk more about The Simpsons.
I forgot I had a little bit of it's a little celebration thing that a short film that I edited for a friend won Best Inspirational Short in a Hollywood festival that I can't remember called Lauren's Choice. So that was fun. That's cool.
Just before we step away for break, I actually, my two wonderful children are here and I rarely see them. So I will not be coming back to chat. I had a great time and you guys were amazing with all the voices.
Thank you, Roxane. Say hi to them. Thanks for even being here with them. So yeah, go have a good time.
Take care, Roxane.
All right.
That's
Take care.
For anyone else, anyone who can't come back and has to go, thank you. We'll see you soon. But all right, see you in 5 minutes. Ish. Yeah.
All right.
At
5
15.
minutes. Gotcha.
7:15 PST.
We got a special guest with us.
Oh, that's cute.
I love cats.
This is Majora, the world ending cat.
We also have another special guest with us. Is it Zelensky or Zelensky?
Zelensky.
Oh, like Wayne Zelensky, the man that shrunk his own children.
That's
Yes.
Sully.
Yes. And a lot of people lately have been saying, oh, like President Zelensky of Ukraine. But I spell it different.
No.
But yeah, that's kind of funny.
I liken it more to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids because it's more positive and uplifting.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just a Disney lover at heart of those 90s films.
Yeah, there's some good ones for sure.
And Rick Moranis is a god of acting. He's Canadian. He's amazing. He was Barney Rubble in the Flintstones. He was just epic.
He's dark. He's also dark. Helmet and Spaceballs.
I know, but you know, I mean, he took time off to raise his children, and kudos to him for that.
Yeah.
Muted. Yep.
If you see this, Rick Moranis, we love you.
Vicky, muted.
You brought smiles every time I saw you in the cast.
Don't mind me, Miss Zelensky. I'm a little on the spectrum and I get excited at the weirdest stuff.
Oh,
I got to be in the TV series of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. It was
What the frick?
it was done in Calgary. Yeah.
Vicky, are you serious? Now I'm going to Google you.
No, I was only in a couple of episodes, and
What the frick?
I
I
did-
watched
what did-
that.
What did you do in it? What were the roles or the positions?
I didn't speak. It was the one episode. It was the boy, instead of making himself smaller, he made himself be an adult, and he went on a game show, and I was part of the audience. So it was a 2-day shoot. It was a lot of fun, and I'm animated enough that I did get a close up. So and picture that.
I'm Googling you right now.
It was called, what was that episode called? I don't remember now. I mean, it was a long time ago.
You have got
And the
to. I
other one?
watched that.
What was the other one, Vicky? Do you remember?
The other episode, it was court. There was something to do with court, and yeah, again, we were extras.
Oh, with the cop, the single cop dad and his 2 sons.
There you go.
Aaron, did you say you had something else you wanted to add? It seemed like, or
Me? No.
okay.
Sorry, Jacob.
Well-
I just
no,
remember
that's
that
fine.
TV show.
Yeah, no, that's great. But also, as you can see, Kathy, sometimes we get off track, and we're
I
already
know, it
off
was
track
a-
before we even started and came back. So I'm going to try and get us back, and we're going to talk more about The Simpsons
Vicky,
Which
see
we
if you can remember, and I'll
read
Google you.
tonight. And so one thing I noticed on reading the script, I watched this episode a couple times before, and there are definitely some changes
Oh,
from
yeah.
this script to what's in the episode. And yeah, I heard some of our readers today, they knew that because they said the line first that was in the episode, and they're like, wait, okay, let me read the script, because it was different. And that came there.
But no, there were scenes where I was waiting for like specific lines, but then they didn't happen because like insert, like for example, Hank Scorpio is supposed to do something, but all of a sudden, rather than doing the one thing, he just walks away.
Yeah.
Like
It's,
the trust one, and he's all right. I'm gonna catch you. All right, 3, 2, and then the phone rings. He's like, 1 second. Homer falls and hits the floor, and he's like, hello. Oh my God, there's a man on the floor.
Oh my God, there's a guy on the floor. Don't talk about the mistrust.
Yeah.
So that one's different. What else do you guys remember that's different? Anyone that noticed?
Grandpa's not in this show.
Yeah. The whole grandpa and robocall thing, not in the show at all. You're right.
Oh,
Not in the episode.
2 key moments in Hank's so we say his little launch base. when Homer first shows up and he's like, "Hey, how come I've never seen this office?" And he's like, "Well, why should you? It's mine." And well, what's up? "Well, you have any sugar?" "Oh yeah, here. Oh yeah, sure. Here you go." And he's like, "What? Sugar?" And he pulls out a bunch and puts it from his pockets and puts it into Homer's hands. And then he's like, and he's like, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, it's not pockets. Would you like some cream too?" No.
Yeah. Homer like looks
No.
down at him and then looks back up on that joke. It's a little racy.
And
And then
then
they had more racy
And-
jokes with.
And
Go
then
ahead.
and then there's like when Hank Scorpio asks, "By the way, Homer, what's your least favorite country, Italy or France?" And he says France, and then I'm pretty sure this was added later in post or improvised by Albert Brooks, but in the show he says, "Nobody ever says Italy."
yeah, he does say that.
Yeah. And he improvised and went on stuff about the hammocks and all the hammock stores and, getting one of the
Yeah.
workers gets in the hammock with you. And there's other stuff too. I feel like in the script, they maybe thought, okay, we can't show this. So they showed them like walking away and you hear the gun sounds. But in the episode, they just have a shooting.
Yeah, because he's like,
right there, more envision.
because he's like, "Well, Mr. Bond," and I unfortunately forget everything he says there, but then it's like, "Do you expect me to talk?" "No, I expect you to die." And, "Well, you're gonna die now." And he goes to leave. Mr. Bond does the quarter thing. "Stop him! He's supposed to die!"
Yeah.
And then Homer
So
tackles him.
So there's definitely changes from the script to the TV episode. So since we have our special guest, an animator on The Simpsons, Kathy, that's you. Want to ask like,
We
right.
we love you. Referring
Yes,
to you.
I'm welcome. So questions that a lot of people that don't work in animation don't know is like, do you see the script? When does the audio happen compared to like the storyboards to the animations and that stuff? So like kind of these changes, like when would you see those changes happening or something?
Okay, so I'm doing animation, or I'm technically turned character layout, but it's basically I'm doing the animation on it. And so when I start on a show, I'm given, or I have the opportunity to grab off the server because we're all working at home. So I grab the script, I grab the storyboard, and so I kind of start off with that, and the director, of course, will tell me what he or she wants. And so the script, it's a combination when I'm animating, looking back and forth from the script, the storyboard, to the movie reel. So there's 3 sources that I look at for reviewing my scene. And so you're all noticing there's a lot of story changes. And even by the time I get on it, I see lots of story changes in the script. So what you've got is probably different than, what I see as I'm working on the show. And so I definitely, it's good to have the script because sometimes the writer will make a more clear note on that. The storyboard is more the visual with some notes from the director on that. So the script definitely gives you more information. But sometimes, they change a lot. So while you're working on it, they'll do rewrites quite a bit. So we'll animate the show and the writers are seeing it several times. The writers are pretty much king at The Simpsons. That's my feeling, seeing how production works. But as they see the animation coming in, they might rewrite something. And after I'm doing my specific job, the key poses of animation goes to Korea. They finish up the in-betweening in animation over there, put it in color, comes back here to the States, and the directors and writers will go over it, what they see, and they may do more rewrites. And then they do retakes, what they call retakes. And so the writers will write something new, like that joke didn't work, let's write something new. And then they send it back to, they have a team that works here to redo some of the poses and it goes to so it's the same, then they go through a second pass on it then. But yeah, the script is really helpful to see.
Awesome. Tim, you had a question?
Yeah, I watch special features of The Simpsons a lot, so I've heard about that whole process.
Mhm.
But big question, when it comes to a TV show and you're making the animatic, do you hear the actors' voices, or is that often done by the animators? Because I heard this like in film, say, many times people who are developing the animatic will voice the characters themselves at first before the professional actors take the shots. And sometimes though, that actually winds up they wind up voicing the character anyway, like Peter Sohn when he voiced Scott Squishy Squibbles in Monsters University. So, yeah.
Well, that I've seen over the course of my career in features, but and yeah, like you said, like somebody, might be an animator or story artist there or writer or whatever, and their voice is so good. Like Joe Ranft was a perfect example, who was a head story at Pixar. So they use his voice. But for Simpsons, I will, where I hear the voices first is the story reel. So I can see the flow of the storyboards with sound. And when so occasionally you will have scratch, but I don't know who does the scratch. It might be the directors or the writers or one of the head people running the production, but I don't know so much if it's like one of the people underneath the director. I haven't known like one of my colleagues who's a character layout artist to do a voice. So I think it might be more common with features than maybe that has to do with the speed, and only some certain people are privy to that part of the production. Like as a character layout artist, I'm in the second wave of it, so I'm not really part of the first wave, although I did get to be assistant director for Mike Palcino on a show that aired just like I think a weekend ago. And so that was interesting because I got to watch Mike Palcino work with the directors over Zoom and talk about the script and what things they thought were working and not working. So anyway, yeah, that was kind of a neat thing to watch that, but I'm not usually part of that group being a character layout person.
So to refer to some of the stuff you said there, scratch, you're saying like that's for scratch dialogue. And
yes.
Right. And you said story. And you said story reel. So I was just going to elaborate for others that might not know. We see you, Heather. 1 second. Story reel is, that's the storyboards in motion. So the animatic that has, and as far as you usually hear it, has the actual voice actors timed to the motion of the images going by.
Correct.
Yes. That's what you get, and you do your
yes, exactly.
Exactly.
Okay. So it's you'll have the storyboard panels, and again, like you're mentioning, they'll put the sound to it. And I would say by the time I get to it, most of the voices are in there. And it probably, if they're not, it's probably because the writer rewrote something, and so they have to use a scratch line, which is interesting as an animator. It's like, oh, well, I have to animate it. It's time to animate. It's like, we don't have time to record one of the main actors again. And so you just do the lip sync. And then there are other people who will retime my drawings to fit when they do get the main actor back in. So they'll have to retime my drawings because the reading might be different.
All right, cool.
I don't know if that makes sense to people, but
yeah. That actually goes into the question that I wanted to ask. Like when a TV episode is being made, who is in charge of determining the pace? Like, is it the ones who make the storyboard or storyboards and stuff, the animators, or is it the one who reads the lines? Who paces it?
I'm sorry.
Like who determines the pace of how fast the episode goes? Like
my guess would be the director, Kathy, like
I don't
So
know.
you're talking about because you get, well,
In terms of as far as how fast a character moves, does the voice actor have to move as far as the animation moves, or does the animator have to move to however fast the reader goes?
The voice is first. The voice is first. Because well, I don't know, they might so the storyboard artists might be working off a script. But yeah, by the time it comes to me, they've recorded the voices. So I'm not really sure. Those might be simultaneously doing the storyboards and recording the voice actors.
Because I saw this on an episode, I believe, of Amazing Race once, where they had to go and record a line according to how paced it was in a scene.
So the scene had a certain length and they had to match that?
Yeah.
And you're saying, Heather, you're saying Amazing Race, that's live action, right?
No, they had to like go into a booth and they watched the scene and they had to pace themselves according to what played out on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Are you talking about like redubbing it?
Yeah, like repeat, like do it according to what was shown on a scene.
Sometimes
that sounds like dubbing.
Yeah, because dubbing, I think, might happen if, again, so a case where I was working with Scratch and they finally, so that would happen probably with dubbing. So I animate the scene to Scratch track. It's not the real actor. They finish the animation, they bring the actor back in, and that's probably when they do what you're talking about. They're watching the visuals and they're trying to match that.
Yeah, so they have to match the visuals, the voice actors.
Right, but that's usually done the other way. They do their voices first for most of it. It's just, and I think it's like in live action too, if maybe for some reason they couldn't hear the actor that well, they'll come in and they'll dub it. Yeah.
I just I've done the acting. I just really am not sure about what goes on behind the scenes. That's why I was curious.
Yeah. Well, that's a great question, Heather. And I've heard other people have that too. So you'll say, Kathy, for original animation that's been created, 90+% of the time, the voice acting will come before the actual keyframe final animation.
And the reason why is because I'm an actor with a pencil or a Wacom pen in this case, because I draw digitally. And so I need to listen to the voice because the voice gives me imagination how I'm going to move Homer or Marge. So I have to listen to the little, inflections in the voice, if there's breathing or how a character is saying something. And so that is, if I didn't have that, I wouldn't know how to draw the attitude pose of the character. So I really need to hear the voice. I mean, I could see the writing, like Marge is sad, for example, but it makes the world of a difference. You have to hear the sound that adds to your acting. And you don't know how long the scene will be too, because an actor might take a long time saying a particular line, or they might say it fast. So how would they know in editorial how long to make the scene? They really need dialogue there, and sometimes music or whatever, and editorial space it apart, but voices first.
Okay.
That has a follow-up. Wait, someone else had a question?
I do.
Okay.
How long is the process of making an episode?
So I'm guessing maybe it's 3 months, maybe 4, from start to finish. So my part of it is never really longer than 8 weeks per episode, but it varies because they move the artists around depending on, how many people they need on what show. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how long the writers have before they bring it in to the producers or whoever, because I don't know that part that well. But I would say probably from start to finish, it might be about 4 months. And then it might wait around till they air it too. They may not air it right when it's finished. But the Mike Polcino episode that I just worked on feels like it aired about 2 to 3 months. 2 months maybe after
Interesting.
they were finished, or maybe a month after it was finished.
That's very interesting. A follow-up question to the previous thing about how you need the voice acting to help inform your acting choices as an animator.
Yes.
Do you ever see a video reference of the actors recording theirs?
No. They would definitely record the actors in feature animation, but I've never seen it on The Simpsons, probably because of the pace of it. You know, they're going so fast, and you know, it's different. I think they probably, you know, everybody's being recorded at their homes in different places and stuff. So I don't, and actually they probably would do that for features, but I've never seen it on The Simpsons. They might do it, I suppose, if they're doing some kind of, you know, promo piece or something, but in general, for animators, we don't get anything like that. But features, definitely. Features is a different story.
Angel, did you have a question?
Yeah. Do you have a favorite that you've animated? A favorite episode or a favorite character?
Oh, well, actually, I did an episode with director Rob Oliver, last year, and it was trying to remember the title of the episode, but basically my octopus teacher, the documentary winner. So they had Lisa Simpson. She was shooting the documentary, and she goes down the ocean and she makes friends with a little octopus named Molly. She names it Molly. And so I put my heart and soul into that because, number one, I'm a major fan of octopuses. I just love them as a creature in the world. And then I animated Ursula. So I had a lot of experience doing octopus, you know, body shapes and stuff like that. So I would say that, and actually another episode I really loved, it was again with Rob Oliver. I've worked with a lot of great directors. I've had many, many great moments with a lot of them. So, but this other episode sticks out to me because it was sort of like the Halloween episode that they do every year, but they did it with Thanksgiving of Horror, I think it was called, something like that. And I got to do all these turkey heads being chopped off, blood everywhere. And I was like animating all this blood. I'm like, wait, can this be on television? This much blood. And so I had to go look on the internet. I was just out of curiosity. Are there cartoon shows with lots of blood, you know?
I think the
so
blood
that
has to
was
be a
so
certain
much
color.
fun. So much fun to kill all these turkeys. But so, and I worked on when I worked on Little Mermaid, I also got to do the chef, where he was chasing Sebastian the crab with the canister. But you know, he never gets Sebastian. So this was sort of my, yes, I get to kill something, which is kind of silly, but it was so gory. It was fun. So those two episodes stick out, but I've worked on many great episodes.
Yeah.
Many great
Thank
episodes.
you. That was fun.
That's awesome. Any other questions at the moment that someone has?
Don't
All
think
right.
of some.
I'm surprised you're like, well, again, you did Ursula, which is phenomenal. So otherwise I'd be like, I'm surprised you'd volunteer for the octopus. Like, as an animator who's done tentacles before, like more just in 3D though, I'm like, I try and stay away from that.
Well, 3D would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen rigs
Yeah.
on different feature films, like at DreamWorks and stuff, and where they'll have an animal with very difficult body shapes, like a bird, for example, things like that, dragons, whatever. And, you know it can be difficult. And I was thinking about that with Pixar's is it Finding Dory?
Yeah.
I think had the octopus in it.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh my God, no. I mean, I did a little bit of the snake. I don't know. There's something about that shape. I did a little bit of the snake and Kung Fu Panda. And yeah, the rig on that. Anyway, technical stuff. CG is a lot harder than drawing to me. drawing
How-
is easier because you got so much technical stuff in CG that this can be difficult when you've got difficult characters like that.
How
So,
was
yeah.
well, I'll just say to people, a rig is kind of like puppet controls for a puppet that has joints and stuff. So that's how we control the
skeleton,
character
right?
in 3D. A skeleton is part of the rig,
Mm.
but it's more the muscles, because we need the skeleton to say what part of the body moves with it, but we need the muscles. They're not really muscles in 3D normally, but we need something to control the skeleton. And so that's what the rig is.
Yeah.
So how was the DreamWorks snake rig? It was also challenging?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I worked on that. I just remembered, yeah, there were some very tricky aspects to doing that. And you would think a snake would be easy. It's just one long shape, but no, it's because you've got so many joints within the length of the snake. And how do you make it scale, stretch, and anyway, lots of
keep it
technical
formulated.
stuff. I know this is a voice thing, but in script, but yeah, technically it's challenging to do characters like that.
Oh yeah.
Shame
Yeah,
that
you should.
you didn't work on The Simpsons at around, like, I think it's season 18 to 25, somewhere in there, because they did this couch gag where they make fun of evolution, and Mr. Burns was an octopus.
Oh, was he? I don't
Yeah.
remember that. I'll have to look that up though.
Oh,
Um,
it's a fan favorite couch gag, because Homer goes from being a bunch of like a single cell, then he separates, and they all keep saying dough, and then eventually he's a fish, and he works his way up out of the water and becomes an amphibian, and then a
Oh my
mammal.
God. Okay, I'll have to check that out. Yeah, that was a season. I think I started on season 19, but I'm going to check that out because that sounds really funny. I mean, I'm amazed at their couch gags. And, we used to, at The Simpsons, when we were working in the office, they had kind of a display room where you could go around and understand, you could take tours of it and kind of see the process and examples of different departments' work. And they had a lot of stills of the couch gags, 3D couch gag. And I mean, I can't even remember all of them, but how they have to keep coming up with, new fun couch gags all the time. I haven't worked on a couch gag yet.
I like
It's we'd have to go back and tell them, hey, I want to work on one if there's a chance to. Yeah.
It's one of the simpler ones, and it's an old one, but The Simpsons, they do their traditional thing and they all run to the couch and they're sitting there, and then Lisa looks at us and she's like, what, can't we sit at the couch without something happening? All of a sudden a harpoon strikes Homer in the chest and he's just like, go!
I love that.
That's great.
All right, everyone else, do you guys have a favorite Simpsons episode or Simpsons story?
Hello.
You're
Tim.
asking me to pick.
Yeah. I'm
Hello,
backing
everyone.
off. I got lucky with this episode because it's one of my favorites.
My favorite is the Telltale Heart.
My favorite is
Winona
any
Ryder as
episode that I
Lisa
haven't seen
Kelsey.
yet, and I finally see it. It's like, what? I haven't seen this before. It's so good. Reminds me of why I liked it way back when.
I'd have to say, the couple of episodes are the streetcar called Marge and the one where Marge gets the bowling ball for the birthday.
Mhm.
Yeah, if I had to,
Oh, the Jacques.
yeah, if I had to pick one, it's a tough choice either between Cape Fear and Last Exit to Springfield. Those are some really good ones and some fan favorites, as I think.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, and the one where Mo tries to get a driver's license and the sisters basically help him cheat just because they
Otto.
don't like Homer.
That's Otto.
Yes.
Yeah.
They literally
Yeah.
help. And the one where Skinner falls in love with Patty.
Yeah.
Oh. I like the sisters.
Patty and Selma, and where Selma works to adopt a child as a single mother, because adoption is in my heart, because I myself favor adoption highly because I have a condition where I don't know if I can have kids, so I'm in favor of adoption. I mean, adoption, however you can do it even as a single parent. So
Oh, her daughter Ling.
yes.
Hey, everybody.
She was so desperate
Yeah.
that she even tried to lie and pretend that she was married to Homer just so she could have a child. And that's a sad thing that she had to pretend to lie, that she couldn't just say, I want to be a single parent. I have a right to be a single parent, because that wasn't realistic for the country she wanted to adopt from. And that's very sad.
But you know what's actually nice though is that Homer was willing to help her out.
Well, I think he has a soft spot for Selma out of the two sisters.
Which is funny because in one episode he recruits Patty because him, Bart, and a couple of others and Patty are going to write a book.
Well, I just think
That's
he and the sisters have soft spots for each other, but they're not willing to admit them.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Well, that's because
Anyways,
they started to warm up to Homer when Homer grabs their smokes when they're smoking on the job and they're supposed to, and the boss comes in and confronts them, and he grabs them both and is like, wait, these are yours? And he's like, yes.
I have another question for you, Kathy.
Okay.
How do they tell the future?
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's a little worrisome.
I've seen those compilations.
Yeah, I
Like
know.
animate
Can you
something
believe
and then
it?
it's gonna
The
come to
Trump one
pass.
is really funny. But yeah.
Have you seen the crystal ball or?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, you haven't stepped into the time travel machine yet in there? Like,
Yeah.
Jacob, I'm going to be
Yeah.
really concerned because there is this episode from a couple years ago when Homer mentioned something about being prepared a couple years in advance, and he lifts up his coat and he's got a pin that says "Vote Ivanka Trump 2028" or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's concerning.
I know. Have you animated anything that didn't happen yet and has come to pass since? Just kidding. No, not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, usually it's like 10 years later or something.
Yeah, yeah. I wish they would, give me some lotto numbers or something.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all.
Well, you got to try just putting them in there and
All
seeing
right,
if that makes it happen.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Hey,
appreciate
everybody.
Hey, Tim,
all right, yeah.
Sorry about
Let
this.
Tim speak.
you got
Sorry.
Yeah.
I just have to say, I think you saw me quit, right? I'm afraid that was my computer. I'm
Oh,
No
not
worries,
really
it
in need of
happens.
a new computer and everything, so I'm currently on my phone, and I just wanted to say thanks so much for inviting me to this table read, but I think I got to sign off now.
All right.
Take
Thanks for the
care,
great job as
Tim.
Homer.
fair
Take
enough.
care, Tim.
Thanks for
Yeah.
coming.
Fair
You
enough.
really made this
Sam,
episode.
care.
you absolutely rocked it. My gosh, that was so beautiful. I could cry with glee.
Oh, thanks. And it was a pleasure to meet you, Kathy. See ya.
Nice meeting
Right.
you.
Give him a
Right.
job
See
so
ya.
he can get a new
Take care.
computer. Like, give him a job. Like,
Yeah.
give him a job. He is Homer's
Bye.
brother.
Thank
I
you.
swear to
Good
God.
night, Tim.
All right, so long.
Bye-bye.
See ya. Good to see you again.
Bye.
Kathy, not to bombard you too much, but since we are skeptical,
I
Since
think
you like
we're way
again-
past that.
I know we are. Yeah. Since everybody here, like a lot of people here are writers or they want to be actors and they do voice
We are
acting.
actors.
Yes. Well, yeah. I'm not. In your other experiences, animation, feature, whatever, can you recall? I know that some spots are sometimes hard to recall things. Some of like how that process worked with either the script or the actors or the voiceovers, because you made reference to sometimes in a feature, then you might get video reference, and they might have scratch dialogue. But yeah, so what's similar, what's different that you've noticed?
Similar, I'm sorry, so similar or different from television to feature?
As far as, well, anything that has to do with acting or voices or anything that you know from behind the scenes.
From behind the scenes. Well, I've only been experienced of seeing behind the scenes with features. So for like example, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, I was a supervising animator for Frollo, and I got to be in on the recording session. I don't know if there's any Hunchback fans here, but
Yeah.
it was really neat to see Tony J sing Hellfire.
Wow.
And
Oh, Megabyte.
Yeah, so you know, it was interesting. So being in the recording booth and being in the middle, I guess. So I'm a spectator watching Tony J perform in the, you know, in the booth, and then listening to Howard, or not Howard Ashman, Stephen Schwartz, and Tim. No, I forgot the lyricist's name. I feel bad. I can't remember his name right now. Stephen Schwartz. Anyway, it was neat to hear their comments. Well, and Tony J couldn't hear that, but I was kind of hearing it, like, you know, how they felt about, you know, the read or the singing, or, so that was kind of neat. So that's one recording session I got to be in. I got to also, I worked for DreamWorks, and I got to be in a recording session for the Road to El Dorado. And
Love that
I did the
movie.
fill-in for that, Sekil Khan, and so I got to watch Armand Asante record. And the thing that was interesting about that particular recording was he had a shirt on that was very starched and very nice looking shirt, but it was making noise as he was recording his lines. And so they, you know, they said, I don't know, we're picking up your shirt sound while he's recording. And they finally talked him into wearing a t-shirt. They had a t-shirt, you know, from the recording studio. And you could tell he just was sort of like, he didn't look good in it for him, his image of doing that. He did a great job, but it was really interesting to see that acting side, you know, and the persona, and, you know, what they bring to it. And I don't know, that probably didn't even answer your question, Jacob, but those were a couple situations where I got to see it. But in terms of television, never gotten to be in on a recording session. And the directors are not, surprisingly.
Oh, really?
As far as I understand, I'm pretty sure they're not. It's just the writers and the producers and the powers that be, you know. And that really took me by surprise, because I would ask them the direct. I'm sorry?
Yeah, normally on TV they do say writers are king, but from your experience on that, when do you see the directors enter the process or leave the process?
Well, they're involved with it from, you know, the script stage. So when the script comes in, they're involved at that part. And the whole storyboard phase, the directors are very involved with that. And of course, getting the whole show pushed through the pipeline. And, but yeah, as far as, and the right, you know, of course they can, you know, throw in their ideas for the writing. And, you know, and they talk to the writers about it, and, you know, they discuss, you know, what would be good. Because, you know, I mean, the writers obviously are very visual, knowing, you know, because they visualize as they're writing. But the directors too also have a different angle on it, because they're thinking visually, their characters. So it's their characters, the camera moves, you know, other factors. And I'm sure the writers think about that too. I'm not saying they don't, but you know, the directors really focus on that. And, you know, how can they bring out the best angle, you know, and image for the writer's line, because they want that to come across as best as possible. So, you know, yeah, it's a really collaborative process watching them go through that.
And it sounds like even with that, it's like within the budget, because like some people like that don't, you guys probably know all here, but like if they want to do animation, other people are like, oh, let's design this thing with all these little details on it, and then you can't animate that, or these big swooping camera moves and stuff.
Well,
yeah. 2D, 3D. You know, tell us, what were you going to say? Well, correct me, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. No. I was just going to say, when you mention details, that's one thing I'm always amazed at the Simpsons, how much detail they put on the, you know, the character designs. I'm like, this guy has a plaid shirt, you know, or has, I don't know, just very, labor intensive designs. And, it's got to go to Korea, and they've got to in between it, which is putting all the extra drawings beyond what I do on model, meaning looking like the character when he's turning, he or she is turning. And they've got these very elaborate outfits and very elaborate backgrounds. So I'm amazed for a television show that they put that much effort, and it really shows above a lot of the other hand-drawn shows. And I think where The Simpsons has the biggest, I could be wrong, but my impression is The Simpsons has the biggest in-house artist crew to try to do more drawings, to try to get the acting performances better. So when it goes to Korea, and a lot of the television shows will go to some other country to get finished. But they so basically what I'm saying is that they put an enormous effort into the art aspect of the feature films, of the episodes rather.
Sorry.
Well, I do have a question.
Mhm.
Okay, go for it.
Why do they send it overseas to finish it anyway? Don't they have the technology and the stuff to do it here?
Money.
Oh, is it
I'm sure it's
cheaper?
money. I'm sure it's money. Well, they've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, they're also scared now.
I mean, actually, not just them. I mean, well, Saturday morning cartoons, it kind of started with them, just shipping stuff to other countries to have it finished because the labor is cheaper. Now, interesting enough, and I didn't know this until I started working there. So I work digitally. So I draw everything on a Cintiq, and it's in a computer program called Harmony. And what they do is they send my drawing, the file that I animate in, digital file, to Korea. They scan it out on paper. So in Korea, they actually work on paper. They don't have their whole crew working digitally. And maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. And it's because of cost thing. I think that way they could probably farm the work out, meaning they give this person 3 drawings, that person. I'm assuming that's how it works. I haven't been there. But so they could have a lot of people work on it. So, I assume, I don't know if they have an in-house, they probably have some sort of in-house studio over there, but maybe a lot of artists don't work in-house. Again, I'm just guessing, but just knowing how, it works overseas and other companies. But yeah, so that way a lot of people can work on it.
This is a
So,
more
like-
animation question that goes along with that. How rough are your drawings? Like, do they clean up the lines after? They do cleanup as well? Or
So, I think so everybody's a little different. Some artists draw very, what we call clean, which is almost practically one line, on model, lots of detail. Other artists are very loose and will just draw shapes, but every so often we do have to cover what the model looks like for Korea. Like we have to draw at least a couple full drawings, just so, and at least for me. So for how do I work, I tend to what's called tie down the drawings, which means I put a lot of all the shapes, all the clothing, all the details on to help them get it right. And I notice it tends to come back better if, and I do a lot of extra drawings. Some artists don't do as many drawings. So it's all over. It depends on the director you're working for. Some directors are like, hey, just keep it really super loose and rough. Just give me a couple, fully drawn in drawings. And other directors are like, oh, I'm worried about, getting the shapes just right. The thing they're the most concerned about are hands and heads, because hands are difficult and the faces need to be on model, what they call on model, meaning that we all have to make sure we draw the characters exact as close as possible, so it doesn't look like 10 different people drew the characters.
You can ask your question, Heather. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
if
I
she'll
will,
use this
because
one,
it's
but-
an important issue, and maybe Kathy can answer it. Maybe you can answer it. And this is something I just heard from a friend who hangs out with actors. So, and I mean, it's a pressing issue. It's a little off topic, but why not? So I've heard that SAG-AFTRA no longer gives health insurance to actors. Is this true? And if it is, how come they're still shipping animation work overseas? And with all the cost cutting in other areas, like with all the shipping things overseas to make, because it's cheaper, why isn't the union prioritizing health insurance for actors and animators and whoever else?
Well, I get health insurance. I'm part of an animation guild union. So I'm covered under there. I would assume SAG, I mean, to work on a show like The Simpsons, I would think that, well, they have a union, and I don't know. I don't know the actors, what their deal is. But
So
for
are-
me, I get insurance.
So are voice actors in the same boat as actors? I don't know. It's just something I heard and I wanted to clarify.
Well, I do acting through my drawing, and I'm not considered an actor. I'm considered an artist.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm not part of the Screen Actors Guild. I'm not doing the voice. I'm just doing the physical drawing.
Yeah, you're a different
But I'm
union.
doing the acting, but I don't get credit always.
You're
as
a
an
different
actor.
union though, so you'd be covered.
Yeah,
under
different
the same
unions.
thing.
So I'm not sure what the rules are in terms of, their health insurance here.
I'm sorry if this is controversial. It's just something I heard and I wanted to bring it up since this is an actor space as well as an
Yeah.
artist space.
Now,
I don't know
we
if we even
follow
have
that.
any SAG actors in here right now, do
Well,
we?
if Morgan was here, we'd have an answer.
No, we
Yeah,
don't.
you can ask her.
I got an email today that said, "Here's your
Oh, right.
join the SAG contract." It was not for me. So
Yeah.
I'm not a SAG actor.
Darn.
I'm just
But I know as a
curious,
non-union
sorry.
voice actor, there are groups that are trying to join up together to get health insurance for non-union voice actors.
So
Yeah.
you work on feature films and television here in the States, and they can hire you. So a big company can hire you, like Warner Brothers or Fox or whatever, and they can hire non-union.
I thought they could,
I
but
I
you could only
don't think
do
they
like
can. No.
pre-production.
Oh, they
I thought you
can't.
could only do a certain amount of productions and then you became eligible or something like
It
that.
depends on if the production is union, then you have to be in the union. There's like a whole circle of like,
Oh,
you have to be union to get the union jobs, but you can't get the union jobs unless you're union, but you can't get the union unless you're a union job. There's a circle. But
catch-22.
most of the work I do is non-union.
I thought you had to literally, like, I filled out actor paperwork, but I'm not ACTRA. And I thought you could be non-union if they paid extra fees to have you on a union production.
That might be the case. There's something called must join that like you can do a certain number of union projects
Before
think
you're
maybe one or
eligible and then
two.
you have to.
before you have to, and you have to before you can do another union project. I haven't even been on those projects yet.
I don't know. I've been on one or two because I was on Angel Dust and then something called the Hadley Project. So that's two, because I had a line in Angel Dust that's on Prime now. So
Also, that's US. I don't know what Canada does.
no, the video was on Prime Canada. So I don't know. I'm sorry for the health insurance question. I just know it's a pressing issue. And
it's good to ask in case somebody knows.
I thought you knew
Unfortunately, we
something
don't
about
seem
it,
to
but
know.
you're in a different union. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of animation out there that's non-union.
Yep, all the 3D.
So there's only so many studios that are part of the guild, so many shows. There's an awful lot of animation shows
yeah.
or products, that are non-union. So, and Simpsons wasn't union for a long time. So they just became union, I think maybe 15 years ago.
Oh.
So they're season 34. So the first, 15, whatever, 17 years were
Okay.
non-union. So I've been fortunate almost my whole career. I've been union, except for maybe 2 years of it. But, unfortunately for a lot of the Simpsons folks, they didn't get to be union until 15 years ago. So they're a little bit behind in trying to get vested and all these other things that come with.
So is that why the animation style, because I've watched since season 1, is that why the animation style of The Simpsons, the family and everybody else changed over the years?
They changed and changed in terms of their look?
Yeah, because they looked so different in season 1 than they do now.
That has to do with probably Matt Groening. Groening. That, you know, they constantly were improving the show. And that happens a little bit even on features as you're drawing a character. You hate your scenes at the beginning that you did.
Yeah.
And then by the end, you're like, oh God, I wish I could redo those scenes because I draw the character so much better now. So you got 34 years and they still do little improvements here. I think Lisa Simpson, I saw a model sheet, I think it was for 2020, that they fixed a little design thing on her hair.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but yeah, they look radically different from the first. You know?
Yeah. And I have a follow-up. Really, sorry, Ari, I have a follow-up. Like with all the flash forwards and stuff, they have a ton of flash forwards, but they don't ever let the characters age. They keep them at their ages for 34 seasons. Why is that? Why don't they let them age?
Well, occasionally they age. Like I've done an episode where Lisa was a grown-up. You know, it was because they were
like flash forward episodes.
Yeah.
But they don't let them age in the normal course of the episode. They just keep them at the same ages for 34 seasons.
They're going to be on forever and ever. They're never going away.
If they did have to age, they wouldn't exist anymore. They would have been too old, different actors. It would have totally changed what the show was about or like.
Yeah,
like a couple things from season 1. Smithers used to have darker skin.
Yeah.
Mo and Wiggum used to have black hair.
Yeah. Well, and some characters they don't have anymore, right? Apu, he was in this script. I don't think.
But he was retired a couple of years ago because of.
Well, the ethnicity.
I don't understand.
Some other characters have been retired, but just because of like.
The only notable
actor conflicts
character I think that was retired was Mrs. Krabappel. That's because her original voice actress passed away. So out of respect, they just retired her. Whereas,
no, they killed her off.
Yeah, but the actress died.
I know, but they could have. I don't know. I just wish they could have
I know there's no
Flanders. I wish they could have given Flanders some happiness and simply found a different actor because the dude is just sucking like badly in the romance department. I wish the dude could have some happiness after his wife died after a t-shirt hit her and she fell off a bleacher, for goodness sake. The dude is just suffering in the romance department and he deserves to be happy.
Now you're that much more invested in that
character. But here's so with Mrs. Krabappel's actress passing, they retired the character, but someone else died. I forget her name, but she voiced a bunch of the children, and so I guess because it was a bunch of characters, they just recasted them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sooner or later they're gonna have to. They keep going, you know, which I don't see them stopping. Sooner or later, that other actors and actresses are just gonna retire or whatever, and it's just like I think about, Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck, those guys doing the voices now are not the original ones who did it when Walt was around. They find other actors or actresses that do a great job. You wouldn't know the difference. It might be a little bit different spark, to the, like Mel Blanc, for example. And I'm sure all of you guys know Mel Blanc.
Oh, yeah.
Who could replace Mel Blanc? I mean, he is a unique, one of a kind, and he did so many voices for so many cartoons. He was.
He was such a prominence in the Jetsons. My God.
Yeah. June Foray's another one. She was a very famous voice actress and did lots of characters. I think she was Rocky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Among other characters.
Of Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Yeah, Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Like, nobody, like Mel Blanc, nobody can replicate the voice of Mr. Spacely except maybe Danny DeVito.
Do you guys have other voice actors that if people want to be a voice actor that they haven't heard of, they should look up and check out?
Well, you mentioned Kung Fu Panda. I know the guy that does the voice match for Jack Black.
Oh, yeah?
What do you mean voice match?
Well, he's not Jack Black, but he can sound like Jack Black. So he plays the Kung Fu Panda in the, I believe, the Netflix series or the TV series.
Oh, because Jack Black probably didn't want to do it or something. So
Yeah.
there's
a lot of like voice matches for the TV animation. So for like Toy Story or whatever, they have like a voice match for the TV version.
Yeah, I can see that. Because actors are busy doing, bigger shows or they're busy with whatever.
I just saw a video recently that was a woman who did the voice matching for Julia Roberts. And so they just called her in when Julia Roberts was too busy and they needed just like a few lines here and there. She just does an impersonation of Julia Roberts and fills those lines in.
Yeah.
Like, the dude who played Fred Flintstone, his voice, precious.
I was on Rescuers Down Under, and that was made like in 92, I think, something like that. And for talking about scratch dialogue earlier, they did ask me to go in there and do some scratch dialogue for Ava Gabor. And I was like really super embarrassed. And I'm like, I don't think I could do it. They're like, sure you can. Oh, come on. You can sound like, you can do a Hungarian accent. And I was like, oh, I'll try. And I totally couldn't do it. And they go, oh, you sound like Margaret Thatcher. I was like, I told you, I can't do voices. And they're like, okay, we'll find somebody else to do it.
And I don't know if you watch Star Trek at all. I do. Like in one of the episodes of Prodigy, they had recordings. They took recordings of old actors that had passed away mostly and used it in an episode of Star Trek Prodigy to bring back old actors that had passed away and had them as holograms for an animated show. Yeah, I'm a big Star Trekkie, so I know this. It was really cool the way they used these pieces of voices from these deceased actors to make a really nice episode.
Now, that's something to talk about too, but Hank Scorpio has to leave to go take over the world. So we're going to say good night to Jack. So thank you, Jack.
Good night.
Take care, Jack.
You did well.
Yeah, we can't hear you right now, but when we could hear you, you sounded amazing.
Yes.
Nope. So we look forward to hearing you the next time you can join, because you always sound awesome.
It was great.
Good night, Jack. All right. And should we begin to wrap it up? Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. That was phenomenal. I love The Simpsons, and you guys, I don't know, make it so much fun. And Kathy, thank you so much for all your insights and sharing them with us and being here.
My pleasure.
You're amazing.
Yes, it was so lovely having you here and being able to talk with you and spend time with you and show you our talents.
Yeah, you guys are great. It was really fun. And like I said, I'd never been part of a table read before. So I was a little nervous about it. But you guys, it was great to hear you guys go into characters. I mean, so me being an animator, that's what I love, is to hear voices. Because I'm imagining the characters with your voice, and you guys did a great job.
That was actually one of my first things. Like when I was in show choir as a teenager, they would always give me voice parts. So.
Well, then I have two questions, both of them very quick. What did you think of our impressions?
Pretty good.
And two, because you mentioned earlier that you could do Marge. May I ask if we could hear it?
No, I don't. Well, homie. I don't know. I'm not really-
I think she said she didn't feel like.
I asked my daughter before. I said, "God, do you think I should try to do Marge?" I mean, and she goes, "Mom, that like is a special voice technique." My daughter sings. She's like, some special voice technique. You're gonna hurt yourself.
Homie.
Like I need my voice for anything. I mean, I'm just a
Homie.
Oh, it's not so bad.
Yeah, you've got it.
Yeah.
What character can you do?
Oh, I don't usually.
Okay.
I do the drawing part.
So,
You
so
guys
you
are the
said-
experts.
You said you had a social media link. I've already forgotten what it is.
So you could see my website. It's very easy, kathyzielinski.com. So on that website, you can see a lot of clips of my animation reels. So computer animation, hand-drawn animation. You could see physical art that I've done, design work. And then the other one is Kathy Zielinski, or Instagram at kathyzielinski.com. I'm not sure how you even get to that, but my name is Kathy Zielinski on Instagram. So I think if you type in my name, you'll probably come up across it. So those two things, if you want to see any of the art I do, it'll be on those sites.
Yeah, found you.
Yeah, very
Yeah, you
cool.
found it? Okay, cool.
My granddaughters are going to be very pleased that I met you.
Oh, nice.
Whoa. Kathy's just because of scrolling down. You animated Jafar
Yes.
when he
Oh,
does
wow.
the big grand Aladdin. He's in the dungeon.
Yes. So the beggar, that character is called
well,
beggar. Yeah. So I
yeah.
did. So I
Whoever
kind of
has-
supervised that and did most of that, and then I did other forms of Jafar. So I designed and animated Jafar turning into the snake and Jafar turning into the genie.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
So I did all that animation throughout.
Oh yeah,
the
yeah,
end of the
yeah.
film.
The snake is right here. Nice. Yeah, it's on your website.
Yeah, so you could see some of the designs I did for the snake. And yeah, so that was really cool because that was a really cool film to work on. And Jafar is an amazing character. I only did a few scenes where he was in his normal outfit. And it was because it was right at the transformation where he goes, "A snake, am I? Want to see how snake-like I can be?" You know, that whole So I did, that's something I did from his normal shape. Andreas Deha was the supervisor of Jafar. And however, like I said, I did the beggar, Jafar snake, Jafar genie.
If you can remember, when you did that transition, was the voice effect already in there? Because I remember hearing the voice effect. Like his voice starts to change as he turns into the snake.
Yeah, well, let me see as he's changed. Yeah, so I did, a snake am I, snake am I? See how snake-like I can be.
Yeah.
So I think I got that. And then there was no voice for several scenes. And then they had more probably, just hissing sounds. And then there's some dialogue of him later. But yeah.
Very, very
That's
cool.
amazing.
Oh yeah, and the Jafar genie or snake, Jafar snake to genie. Yeah, that was a funny line where he's going, "The power, the ultimate power." Going into
command.
To
control.
To control. Yeah, so yeah, it was fun doing that stuff.
I'm sorry, what was your Instagram again? Because there's actually a surprisingly amount here.
Oh, of Kathy.
I think it's the first one. It's like a different name, like K-Ball or something. We can.
So is it Kathy Zinkball?
Because the first one that pops up is at Mama Z.
No, it's not that
If
one.
you're following Jacob, one of them will say Jacob is following.
Okay.
That's how I found.
Yeah, that's.
Is it Kathy Zielinski or what is it? I should
Well,
know.
I did find your site.
You found my
K Zinc
site.
Ball. Yeah, K Zinc
I
Ball.
love all your Trump characters.
Oh,
They're
so
very
my
amazing.
Instagram is kzinkball.
Yep.
Oh, because when
Yeah.
I look on it, I see my name, Kathy Zielinski. So I didn't. Oh yeah, no. So okay, so I'm like technically stupid, but yeah, now I see it. K-Zink Ball.
An incredible
So
artist.
if anybody wants to see my Instagram, it's K-Zink Ball, but it says Kathy Zielinski.
Yeah.
And I guess, that's my description that I wrote of myself. So I don't usually give it out that often, so I completely forgot.
It's
how to-
amazing. I was peeking at it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I've got a lot of political drawings that I did up there because it was my art therapy during the Trump years. And
Oh my
but there's
God.
other stuff that up there too. It's not just political stuff. There's a lot of
I love the Peter Pan.
Disney stuff. And yeah, that was a dresser that I painted for my daughters. Anyway, combination of a lot of different things.
Were you always an artist? Did you draw from when you were a little kid?
Yeah. My mom said as soon as I could, as a baby or early toddler, as soon as I could hold a pencil or a crayon, I didn't stop. And after I'm done with the stream, I'm going to go back to working on art. I just love doing art. I mean,
That's
I
like
just
my
can't get
kid.
enough of it.
My
Can't get
youngest
enough of it.
is always drawing constantly. And when it was paper, like a stack of paper this thick every month, full of
Uh-huh.
drawings.
Yeah.
So,
It's just something I've always wanted to draw, always drawing, just love it to death. I still can't get enough of it. It's
that's
fun.
so awesome.
Fun, yeah.
Yeah, I used to
And since
draw a
you're gonna
lot
go-
when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Since you're going to go back to it, we won't keep you from your love anymore. So again, thank you, Kathy. Thank you
Yes,
very much.
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank
Pleasure.
everyone.
Thank you.
So nice to have you.
If you
Oh,
ever
thank
feel
you.
like following us back, you're welcome to.
Okay, I will.
All right. Have a good night. And
Alrighty.
we'll see you guys next
Thank
week.
you.
Bye.
Great job,
Bye.
everyone.
You too.